Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ESV TV Korean Weekly Season number 3. This is week number 1, and we're jumping into Game 2. We just saw Game number 1 between Top and Jinro in a best of 3, and Jinro was able to take Game number 1 with some excellent mech play, and Top went for some infantry into a battlecruiser transition. Didn't quite work out for him, but second mastery on Cloud Kingdom. So, Axel, do you think we're going to see a change-up in Top's players? Are you just going to try that yet again?
Concerning the map, I think mech can still be pretty good on this map, but again, there are a lot of potential counterattack possibilities. But on the same sense, there's like 3 bases. It's not too out of the ordinary to be able to get those pretty fast. So I don't think he's going to do the same thing, because generally when you lose a game, you want to change your strategy up a little bit, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, true that, man. TVT on Cloud Kingdom, it's such a positional map in every matchup. It's just like you can't just kind of be like, all right, I'm just gonna go kill my opponent on Cloud Kingdom. You just can't do it. You have to think about every single move you make very methodically, because there are a lot of small choke points leading in and out of the center of the map. A lot of these little ramps that are blocked most of the way by indestructible rocks, and it's a map that was designed specifically to not allow. Maybe not allow, but to discourage or make it easier to defend against cheesy play. So early attacks, things like that. The natural has been it's pretty choked up, so you can defend. You have that ramp leading down. You have the rocks blocking. You have 2 Zalaga towers. The 2 Zalaga towers are actually on the low ground. I feel like I don't even need to explain this anymore now that it's on the ladder. But that creates such an awesome dynamic, because it has to do with players like keeping units on the low ground trying to hold it, units on the high ground trying to attack it and take that out. So hopefully we'll see that between these 2 players, but I'm certainly expecting Jinro to go mech again. This certainly is a map that you can go mech on, and since he loves mech so much, it's just going to be down to what Top does, whether he does indeed change up his play, or whether he just tries to stick to that infantry and maybe make it work a little bit better on this map than it did on Ohana. Yeah,
you're absolutely right, and I wouldn't add anything to that. I mean, I think this map is just... It's really receptive to safe standard play, and that's exactly what Jinro kind of did in the last game, going for that mech, just playing really safe, turtling up a little bit, and then going from there into the Viking Thor transition. So, you ready to get into the game?
Yeah. Also, I did get note that there's some issue with my microphone popping. Do you hear that at all, or is that just on the stream?
I
don't know. I think it might be an issue with my webcam, so I'm just going to try turning that off while we do the game. I'll just remind me to turn it on when we go back to
all right, sure,
post-game stuff.
It sounds fine to me. I don't know.
All right, I'll turn it off just in case. I just know it's been an issue with my webcam being in HD causing problems, but should be ready to jump right into this game.
All right, let's do it. As we scroll into there, hopefully the overlays are fixed. Again, I am controlling all of the transitioning and stuff, so if you have any complaints, please blame me. Don't blame anyone else. It's all on me. In the top right-hand location of ESV Cloud Kingdom, we have the blue Terran player, as I get the sound and music on top, representing Team OGS. His opponent in the bottom left-hand location of Cloud Kingdom, we have Jinro, the yellow Terran player. And quick shout-out to the maker of this map, Super OU Man. I hope I said his name correctly, but it's got to be awesome to see his map being played absolutely everywhere, getting added to the ladder map pool. A testament to his skill as a map maker and to the ESV map making team in general.
Yeah, not just the latter. What I found so amazing was that when they added Cloud Kingdom to the GSL, that was like it was like the first moment where a foreigner map was being added to a Korean tournament like that. Just such a big step in esports. Pretty cool. But right away we see some differences in these guys' builds. Jinro going for gas first, a build that we don't see that often anymore. It was really popularized back in like MLG Columbus era, with Team Slayers just doing this and rushing Blue Flame Hellion as quickly as possible, because if you get that gas first, then your barracks, you can get that factory right at the moment your barracks finishes. So it just allows you for a really, really quick tech at the cost of that economy that Top will have the advantage of. So while Top's going for a gasless expansion, Jinro's going to be rushing out that factory, and as we know in TBT, if you have a factory that much earlier than your opponent, regardless of what strategy you go for, it can give you a pretty big advantage. Maybe you can go for earlier siege tanks that can really pressure your opponent, earlier blue flame, do some harass, or some type of early banshee play, or even that type of marine hellion medevac drop that we've seen so often nowadays.
So do you think that with this earlier gas, Jinro is definitely going to be investing into some sort of pretty heavy aggression early on in the game, or are we going to see a command center, in the relative near future like last game?
I think either way could work. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. You can drop that starport the second the factory finishes and go for more of a one-base play. Or he could just add a tech lab onto the factory, just go for some blue from Hellions while taking a command center. So, you know, he has a couple options available to him. And it looks like Top, after dropping that command center, is going to rush double gas. So he's not going to rush the additional barracks like he did in the previous game. He knows he's going to be up against such a quick factory.
Yes.
He needs his own factory out to be able to combat that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And also not building that command center at the natural expansion now. You could talk about the map in that regard. Last map, of course, Ohana, the natural expansion, was on top of a ramp. However, here there's a sizable choke leading into it, but you got some ramps going up there. But again, I guess Top just playing super safe at this point in time, and I like how you mentioned the double gas, definitely implying that he's going to go for a pretty fast factory pretty soon here, just so he doesn't fall too far behind Jinro, because if your opponent gets Banshees on the field and you're like super far away from Vikings, like it doesn't end up well unless you have a lot of Marines and your micro is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I 100% expect Top to drop a starport the second that factory finishes and immediately start that Viking. He knows he could be up against type of Banshee play or drop play. Viking can shut down both of them. And in fact, it's going to be Banshees here from General. We'll have to see if he goes for the Cloak or not. He has the gas to be able to start Cloak, but not the Cloak and Banshee, so we'll see if he's willing to delay that to go ahead and get Cloak, or if he's just going to go for the Banshee play like he did last game. Oh, it is going to be Cloak this game. All right. So, yeah, interesting indeed. I mean, did he scout Top's build? No, he didn't scout Top at all. He's just setting out that SCV just now. So he doesn't know what Top did. I thought maybe he was like, oh, okay, he went gasless or something. But the fact that Top has such an early second orbital command, if he doesn't spend all of his mules, he's going to have a lot of energy just left over and available to scan this Banshee. So that could help him out if he saves that energy. And yes, he did drop that starport immediately. So we should see Viking out. Will it be in time for Top, and will he have the defenses ready? Oh, nice scan from Top. He actually sees the starport with the tech lab upgrading. Now let's see if General cancels it or not. Tough decision to make. You have to kind of double meta your... Yeah, he's double meting his opponent. You could like metagame it and be like, all right, you scan me, I'll cancel Cloak, and then you still have to prepare against it anyways. Or you can be like, no, I think you're going to think I'm faking it because you scanned, and I'm going to let it finish anyways, and then just go try to do some damage.
You can go one more level than that, man.
Oh, yeah. You can always go deeper in the metagame.
Oh my gosh! But the fact of the matter is, Jinro is going to be finishing Cloak here, and he's confident in his ability to micro his Banshees, I guess, and able to do a lot of damage. But he has to do a lot of damage here to make that Cloak research worth it. That's a lot of investment. And we see Top getting a missile turret in his main base. Mineral Line has a bunker out there, all lonely at his natural expansion, but not moving his command center down just yet.
Yeah, this could be a little bit brutal for Jinro. I mean, with that turret already up, with a Viking already done, and a second one on the way, he's not even just going straight for a medevac, he's going for a second Viking. I don't know what damage he's actually going to be able to do. It shouldn't be much, but Jinro is not dropping a command center behind this. He's actually dropping that tech lab, so he's going for siege mode. He's just going to go for a bit of a one-base all-in, just kind of almost like TVP style one-on-one. Marine Siege Tank Banshee with Cloak. So, Cloak, sometimes it seems like it doesn't do damage early on, and then later on in engagements, it ends up being pivotal. So maybe that's what we'll see from Jinro.
Yeah, Top was looking for that Banshee, not electing to use a scan, though. So Jinro's going to get away with one of his Banshees, getting 2 kills. Were those SCVs or Marines? I think they were Marines. Yeah, so just one worker killed apiece, and Jinro's not doing what he needs to do right now, but it looks like he's going to push across the map and not... Okay, Siege is about to finish too, so trying to time this behind Siege. We'll have to see how much damage he can do here.
Yeah, he also does drop a command center behind it, so it's not going to be all in. He will have a transition available, but he's so invested and so late on that command center compared to Top that he really does have to do quite a bit of damage for this to actually be worth it. But an SCV from Top, nice scout, sees the siege tank and Marines on the way. He knows exactly what's up. He's going to pull, hopefully, those Vikings down to his natural, but he doesn't have a lot, man. He has 4 Marines in a bunker. Where are his units? He has, like, nothing. Siege mode a quarter of the way done. His first tank on the way. This might be too much for Top to hold.
Yeah, Top wasn't expecting this, I guess, but Jinro charging forward here, sieging up his tank, trying to target down those SCVs. SCVs are repairing each other. Please don't die, friend. But it looks like Top definitely in a lot of trouble, and Jinro reinforcing... Well, actually, he's not reinforcing. Keeping a large majority of his army back behind. That's a little bit interesting that he's not rallying across the field. But we'll have to see if Top can hold this. I think he might be able to, considering Jinro's being pretty slow with this.
Yeah, he is, and that Banshee went down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot of vision, so he's not able to actually target fire down those SCVs that are repairing because they're out of vision range. That's what he was trying to use the Banshee for, but This is just causing some serious problems for him since Top can repair that, and I love that Top made a second bunker behind it as well. It might seem like, well, what's a bunker going to do against a siege tank? Well, it buys you time, as you can see here. It just lets you have the tank kill it while it's being repaired, and now a siege tank is out from Top. Oh, Jinro going to try to go for it. He's got 2 Vikings here and a bunch of Marines. Target fire down. Oh, nice target fire in the tank. But a auto turret goes down from Top, and he's got another siege tank ready to go, so it looks like Jinro is going to be forced back, although he has reinforcements coming, so... I love the move by Top, though, picking off the siege tank from Jinro while that was going on.
Yeah, that was pretty sick, and I don't see Jinro breaking this, and I don't think he thinks he can break it either. Might just back away. But the good news is, does have an expansion behind this. The bad news is, Top has had his for a lot longer. As we look at the income tab, 37 to 36, so pretty even in that regard.
That's what I find so surprising. Top has had this expansion for so long. So much longer than Jinro, but he was so paranoid about this engagement that he was cutting SCVs, and he lost just a couple to the siege tank and the Banshee as well. So Jinro, yeah, his expansion was later, but he's actually even economically here. It's actually phenomenal. Now he has just a bit of a contain on Top. Got to be careful with that siege tank moving up the ramp, but he's got a little bit of a contain so he can just be a little bit freer with what he does, and that's why he's dropping a 3rd command center. He knows his opponent can't attack him right now, and he's just going to try to pull ahead. Of course, Top, though, already has a 3rd command center, even earlier than Jinro. But this is actually looking to transition into a pretty even game, amazingly.
Yeah, that's like super surprising when one player invests so much into the early tech, and the other player invests a lot into his economy. Usually you see a pretty big difference at this point in the game, but no, they're relatively even in supply there. Jinro adding on a 3rd command center is adding on 2 factors as well, so it looks like he wants to stick to that mech play that worked so well in the last game, adding on a reactor to a starport as well. And again, 3 bases, not too difficult to hold on this map.
Yeah, and Top this time is going for mech as well. We see 4 factories coming up from him as opposed to the usual 3 on 2 base, so he's really preparing for that 3rd base really quickly. He does have 2 reactors, so he's really pumping out a lot of Hellions, and there's this game from Jinro. He knows it's going to be actually mech versus mech, and with both players almost even on food, almost even on harvesters, just coming into such an even game, this is sure to be quite a bit of fun, Axel. I mean, yeah, mech versus mech with an even game after an opening like that. This is just not something you get to see every day.
That's why you turn into the Korean Weekly and you get your sub pass, because it's so much more fun watching in the super crisp HD. So shout out to all you guys who are supporting by buying that HD pass. It does.
Today's the last day for half off, guys. Ooh. So get that subscriber pass. Last day. It's only $10 for 3 months. Sorry, I'll stop talking about that now.
No, it's worth it. And, you know, both these players just getting their 3rds up and saturated. Top landing his a little bit sooner than his opponent. Let's look at the upgrades really quick. Has any progress been started on the mech? No, it doesn't look like it. Nothing in that production tab. Armory just now being added on for Top. But Blue Flame's about to finish for Jinro.
Yeah, Top doesn't have that yet. He actually hasn't even started it, despite going double reactor factory, which just seems so shocking. You know, he's pumping out quite a lot of Hellions and not getting Blue Flame from them just yet, even though he has the gas and minerals for it. So, I don't know, maybe just a slight mistake, but we'll see if Jinro's actually able to use that. He doesn't look like he's posturing forward with any Hellions to actually go be aggressive, but I love... Look at his building placement. He's got 1 supply depot back behind the 3rd. He knows on this map that that's a common place for Hellions to go try to do run-bys into the 3rd and pick off some SCVs, so he puts the supply depot there to watch for it. He's also got a barracks watching at the bottom right for any maybe drop play coming in from there. He's got Marines everywhere on the map, the top left to watch for drops, also at the 3 o'clock. Jinro has just beautiful map vision, and Tops isn't bad either, but it pales in comparison to Jinro's. Jinro's is just looking beautiful right now, and he's adding double command center because he knows that he has that much map control that he can afford to do that.
Yeah, really cool play from Jinro here. It's almost like watching a Protoss just put pylons everywhere. I mean, this is what you have to do in the game of StarCraft 2. Information is so important, and Jinro getting a lot of information here, positioning his units in such a way not only to spot drops, but to spot the timing of expansion, spot any troop movement across the map. But Top advantage to the Watchtower here with a lot of Hellions. We'll have to see if he can try to get some economic damage done. However, there are 3 tanks positioned at the 3rd of Jinro, all sieged up, so I don't see that being effective. At the same time, Jinro going to the top of the map, going to try to do some economic damage of his own.
Yeah, and Top didn't put that supply depot down like Jinro did, so he might be able to do some damage with some siege tanks. Are in position, just picking up a couple of these SCVs. I love his move. Walk into the mineral line. Excellent choice by Jinro, because the splash damage from the siege tanks will also kill off SCVs of his own. So looking at 9 workers killed by Jinro. We're looking at 65 harvesters to 64, so he was a little behind. Now he's evened it back up despite taking those early extra command centers. And that's amazing. The fact that he also has the extra command centers, he's going to be able to drop, you know, just, 5 mules at a time if he wants to, or have plenty of scans available. And that's just going to give him such a big advantage with the map control that he already has such a big advantage in.
Yeah, adding command center after command center. Top up 175 to 139 in that supply, though. Coming out to the middle of the map here with lots of tanks, a couple of Vikings, Hellions as well. Actually, that's a lot of Vikings in the air. And will General have enough to hold this off? This is a terrifying army from Top.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure. I mean, General has a lot of Vikings of his own. Let's take a look at the count. 13 to 14. General is slightly in the lead, actually. But Top has that Raven, so that point defense drone could make a huge, huge difference in the engagement. It has enough energy, actually, for 2-point defense drones. Just really, really, really powerful. General, unfortunately, has some tanks out in front. This is not what you want to do. You want to have them all in the upper ground, defending that choke point. Now he's repositioning his army, though, and this is not going to be a position Top can engage into. And this is the problem with trying to, go for a less economic style of mech. If it's mech versus mech, and you go for the less economic version where you're trying to attack and be aggressive like Top is doing, you're going to be a little bit more powerful right now, but a little bit less powerful later on in the game. And if General just defends well, which you can do on this map, it'll be in great shape. But this Viking battle is not going well.
Top doing so much damage with these Vikings. General is saying, all right, I give up the air battle. I'm just going to lower down my Vikings, and I'm wondering why Top doesn't have a Banshee or two in this composition to start picking away at these tanks once he gets that air control. Landing some Vikings in the main base of Jinro, going to be advancing into the third at the same time, and there's the GG from Jinro as I'm about to transition back to our cameras, so make sure you have yours on.
I got it. There we go. There we go.
There we go. There it is.
Oh, man. What a hectic ending of that game, man. Just losing that Viking engagement due to that Raven, just being slayed out of position, and then there at the end, he really had to call. He might have been able to stay in, except that he had to call the GG because all of his tanks were sieged up by that by his natural, and all the tanks for Top were about to walk into his third. He didn't have anything ready to defend, and he would have got caught out of position. With Top having the siege line first, that pretty much would have been GG. So really, what it came down to was that there at the end, not only was the air battle won, but one for Top. But General lost all of that map control he worked so hard to get. He lost the Zelnaga Tower holding. He lost the tank that he had outside of his third. And when you're in that position on Cloud Kingdom, you kind of have to gamble. You're like, I don't know if you're coming to my natural or my third. I don't know where to put my siege tanks. So you basically just have to drop constant scans on your opponent's army. And unfortunately, General was maybe a little bit too preoccupied by the Vikings. He had the energy, but wasn't dropping those scans. Got a little bit out of position and ended up losing the game. So Top, nice job, though, with that attack. That's something that's really hard to do in Cloud Kingdom. Actually bust your opponent forwards when you're going mech versus mech like that if they're defending well. And that evened it up back to 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a lot last game. A lot of this comes down to positioning. General was spread out with the siege tanks, trying to defend multiple fronts. Couldn't really keep a finger on where Top was, and Top just ended up bringing his entire army over to the third base, dropped that point defense drone, and of course that minimizes the effect of the opponent's Vikings. So in that regard, Top just came out way on top. I hate to say it, but Jinro, whenever you're forced to land your Vikings to just stay away from the Vikings of your opponent in TVT, it's usually not going to work out good for you. But impressive play from Top to even it up 1-1.
Yeah, by the way, I just got a message from Diamond. He says to let people know to refresh the stream to get the new chat. Apparently the new chat has just been implemented. I don't know what that means. I would have thought that would mean the Space Shark icon, but I still don't see that. I see somebody posting with the star, so I don't know. Maybe that's false information or whatever, but we should be ready to jump right into game 3, correct?
Yeah, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back with game number 3 between Jinro and Top. They're currently tied 1-1. Don't go anywhere.